So hello students, today I am talking about electrostatic. So electrostatic, what is the meaning of electrostatic? Electro means charges and static means fixed. So here we are talking about fixed charges. So basically how many types of charges? There are two types of charges. One is negative charge, another is positive charge. You can look at the diagram. What is the meaning of negative charge? Look, in this substance, how many number of electron? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 electrons. And how many number of protons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 proton and 9 electron. So what is the excess charge? So there is a electron is the excess charge. Number of electron is a number of electron is more than number of proton. Clear? So when a substance contain more number of negative charges than the proton, more number of electron than protons, that substance is called negative charges. Now what is the meaning of positive charges? In this substance, how many number of electron? There are 6 electron, but what is the number of proton? There is 9 proton. Okay, so there is lack of electron. This lack of electron is called positive charge. If in any substance there is some lack of electron, then the substance is called positive charge. So what is the magnitude of one electron? The magnitude of one electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. This amount of charge an electron will contain. Okay. Sorry, this is for positive charge. Actually, magnitude of electron and magnitude of proton is same. Charge of one electron is minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Charge of one proton is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Magnitude is same. For proton, charge will be positive, and for electron, charge will be negative. Next is electric force. What is the meaning of electric force? Look, there is two charges. One is Q1, another is Q2. Here both are positive charges. We have taken two positive charges. First charge is Q1 and second charge is Q2. So they will apply attractive force or repulsive force. So they will apply repulsive force on each other. So Q1 will apply a repulsive force on Q2, that is denoted by F21. That means force applied on Q2 by Q1, and Q2 will also apply a force on Q1. So how much force will apply? How much force will be acting by Q2 on Q1? That is F12. Okay, F12 means force on Q1 due to Q2. But the thing is that what will be the direction of this force? Q1 is positive and Q2 is also positive. So Q1 will apply a repulsive force. Which direction? Opposite direction, away from this charge. Okay, they will try to repulse each other. They will try to move away from each other. So Q1 will apply a force on Q2. Similarly, Q2 will also apply a force on Q1. Clear? But here, maybe they are repulsing each other, but the magnitude of force, that is magnitude of first force, that is F12, will be equals to magnitude of F21. Now this formula is for positive charge. Now what will happen if we take one positive and another negative charge? Look, if we take one positive, another negative charge, then what will happen? They will repulse each other. Okay, they will repulse, one positive, another negative, if we take one positive and another negative, then what will happen? They will attract each other. Which direction? Towards each other. So Q1 charge will apply a force on Q2 and Q2 charge will apply a force on Q1, but the force is attractive force. Clear? Which direction? So Q1 attracting Q2. Which direction? Towards itself. So Q2 is also applying force on Q1. Which direction? Towards itself. Clear? So force acting on Q1 is denoted by F12 and force acting by on Q2 is denoted by F21. Similarly, this magnitude of this F12 and magnitude of this F21 will be equal. Okay, please note it down. Now I'm going to explain Coulomb's law. Please note it down. Coulomb's law. What is Coulomb's law? If two charges are there, one is Q1, another is Q2. This Q1 and Q2 may be positive, may be negative. So we know if there is a two charges, may be positive, may be negative, then what will happen? A force will be acting between the two charges, right? Maybe attractive force, maybe repulsive force. Now the question is, what will be the force? The force will be directly proportional to product of these two charges, directly proportional to multiplication of these two charges, that is Q1 and Q2, and also inversely square of the distance between these two charges. Because what is the distance between these two charges? The distance between these two charges is r. Okay, so it's not directly proportional to r. If distance increases, then what will happen? Force between these two charges will decrease. Okay, moving away. If the charge is moving away from each other, then what will happen? Force between them will decrease. Okay. Now, if I combine this equation number 1 and also equation number 2, then what can we write? We can write here F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by RA square. Okay, because this is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 and this is inversely square of the distance between these two charges. So we can write here F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by RA square. Okay. Now if I remove this proportional sign, there will be constant. This constant is K with Q1 Q2 by RA square. The value of K is 1 where in CGS unit, and the value of K equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in SI unit. So if I put the value in SI unit, then the formula will be F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by RA square. Now the question is, what is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Okay, this epsilon naught is called permittivity of free space. Got it? What is this permittivity? Permittivity is, if we keep this charge in a medium, then what will happen? Medium will try to reduce its electric force. The medium will try to reduce the force between these two charges, because we can understand by this equation that is directly proportional or inversely proportional. Inversely proportional. Clear? So what can we say about permittivity? Its permittivity is like that, it's giving permission to reduce the force between these two charges. Now if I want to find out what will be the unit and dimension of epsilon naught. So what will be the unit of epsilon naught? Because from this equation we can directly write what will be epsilon naught, that is Q1 Q2 by 4 pi f r square. Okay. So at first we will find the unit, then we can find out the dimension. What is the unit charge? We know the unit charge in is Coulomb in SI system. So Coulomb into Coulomb. So unit, and unit of force is Newton and unit of distance is meter. So meter is square. So the complete formula will be Coulomb square Newton inverse meter to the power minus 2. Now what about the dimension? Look, we need to put the value of dimension of charge. We know what is current. If I want to write here current I equals to Q by T, right? Or what will be Q? Because current equals to flow of charge with respect to say per or flow of charge per second. So Q will be I into T. The thing is that the dimension of current is A, because and dimension of time is T. So that will be AT. So I'm putting the value of AT here and also I'm putting the value of AT here. Okay. And we know what is the dimension of force? The dimension of force equals to mLT to the power minus 2. Okay. So I'm putting the value of mLT to the power minus 2. And what is the dimension of distance? That is L. So it will be L square. After solving this, the dimension will be m inverse L to the power minus 3 T to the power 4 A square. So it will be the dimension of epsilon naught. Okay. Please write it down.